Hello everybody, Demon Jester J here with 5 questions to a model maker. And my guest is
Steve Neill.
Priority 1 message start on secured channel.
That's me getting an email.
It happens. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you, Danny?
I'm doing good too. Are you ready for 5 questions?
Sure.
Alright, first question. Who are you? Please tell us about yourself and your hobby. And also, do you have more than one hobby?
My name is Steve Neill. I've worked in the motion picture business for 35 years, maybe more now. And my hobby's kind of always been my job, and I have multiple hobbies. I've done everything from creature makeup effects, doing Mr. Spock's ears for the first Star Trek movie, to working on Ghostbusters and Fright Night, and all that kind of stuff, doing monsters and all that kind of thing. But I've also built props and I've built models, and I've always had a passion for models. I fly radio-controlled airplanes. I make radio-controlled large submarines, boats. I even am into slot cars, and I love building models. Building models has become more recently my full-time occupation, and I do it both for the media as well as, you know, high-end customers that are big-time collectors with sci-fi type models.
Ready for question number 2?
Yes, I am.
Number 2, what got you into your hobby and how long have you been into it?
I think really what got me into my hobby was my love for science fiction movies when I was a young kid. I grew up on watching the original Superman series and all the real early stuff in the 50s, and of course later on Star Trek. And I grew up on that stuff. My dad was an engineer and a really talented artist, and he also built models. So I was surrounded with it. I grew up in a family that was full of artists, concert pianists and violinists and painters, and so I was always inundated with science and art, or art and science. So that's really what got me into it. And I think somewhere along the line, I saw the movie Planet of the Apes, and I really wanted to recreate the makeup, and I wanted to know how they did that. So I sort of set out to find that out. I did. That was about 71, right around in there, and I started doing my first appliances and makeups on myself. And after about 2-3 years of doing that, I came to Hollywood, and I met Rick Baker. I think everybody knows who Rick Baker is, and he was very helpful, giving me my first jobs. There were many more people that I met after that. I apprenticed for John Chambers, ironically, who of course created the original Planet of the Apes makeups that I wanted to know so much about. So I got to work with him, and then of course later on Fred Phillips, who was the senior makeup artist on Outer Limits and Star Trek, and he's the guy who gave me my job on the first Star Trek movie.
Number 3. When and why did you start making YouTube videos, and have you met anyone from YouTube because of it?
I started making YouTube videos because I thought it would be nice to create sort of a reality program that showed people what went into making all these things, whether it be props or big models. That, you know, I got a lot of people who questioned why I charge $3,000 to $8,000 for a model. They would say, "You're nuts. You're never going to make any money. It's too much money." What's too much money? So I started showing them what it took, and what I started was the big enterprise that I did.
I saw those old videos. Those were awesome.
Thanks. It was totally scratch built. I had my good friend Doug Drexler working with me, and I had use of Gary Kerr's plans, which are the plans everybody wants to get hold of. And those guys worked with me, and I made a model that's an exact replica of the actual one, just half the size. And that's really what started it. I had done videos before that, but this was the first time I really made it into a show and really showed people what went into it. Of course, I kept doing it after that, and eventually Doug Drexler said, "Why not call it Steve Neill's Garage?" So it became Steve Neill's Garage. People don't question why the models cost so much money anymore. And in fact, it really helped me meet a lot of people who have the money to afford what these models are worth. I think a lot of people may live at home still, and it's like, you know, there's a model worth $3,000. I'll build you that for a few $100 because they have no overhead. You know, they have no other maybe they have a side income or something, but you know, and they love doing it, so they're happy to do it just to get the money. And those guys are out there, but they're not really going to give you a high-end model, and not one that was done by someone who actually worked on Star Trek and worked on some of the movies they've probably seen. So, you know, the people who said that I wouldn't get any work can be more wrong, because I got people lined up waiting for me to do their models.
Or get the signatures from the original creators, like you got for Galactica.
Yeah, well, I can even get signatures like from Andy Probert, who I know very well, and you know, so if I build a refit for somebody, he designed that, I can get a signature on it.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people can't get those things.
Well, that's because I worked in the motion picture industry, and I still do.
Sorry about that.
Excuse me.
All right. Ready for number 4?
Sure.
Number 4. Do you have any tips for anyone new getting into the hobby or making YouTube videos?
Oh, you know, I always have tips for people getting into the hobby, but most of the tips are in my videos. I forget how many I've done now. I know we're up to 132 as of tonight. Steve Neill's Garage, I did a number before that. I forget how many hundreds of videos I have, but I'm not the only one. There is a lot of really good modelers on YouTube, and I would just study their videos, and if you get stuck, send them an email, and they'll answer your questions. You can experiment a lot. You can try to do things on your own, but it really helps to ask the masters. They're really gonna. I mean, that's how I learned. I mean, I would write these guys and say, you know, how the hell did you do that? You know, and I still do. Because you never learn everything, and you're never so good that you can't learn new things. Because if you do get to that point, then you're burned out. That's how I look at it. To me, every time I build a model, it's exciting. It's never been done before. It's always a thrill. I always feel like a little kid. And if I get stuck and I feel stupid, then I feel stupid. And I open my mouth, how'd you do that? I know it sounds dumb, but that's really how you get through it. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
All right. Any tips on YouTube videos or anything like that? Like,
tips on YouTube videos. Get a better camera than I have. That is tip number 1. But I like to use a handheld because, you know, it's very easy to use, and I can swing it back and forth and on myself, and I've become very acclimated to it. But get a good camera. Don't upload videos that are only 480p. At least do 720p. People need to see these days. So many people are looking at these videos on their home theater systems because they're connected to the internet now. Almost every DVD or Blu-ray player is connected, and so you can watch these, and so many people are. So keep the quality high as you possibly can. Other than that, just focus on what you're doing, and focus on your work, and try to show people how you do things, and you should have a lot of interest.
All right. Ready for number 5?
Sure.
Who do you think I should ask these 5 questions to next, and why?
Well, geez, you know, there are so many great modelers out there, and I know most of them, and some I don't know. Most of them, many of them are on YouTube. I can give you more than one name, but one that keeps coming into my brain is Jason Eaton.
Wow.
You know he is, right?
I've heard the name, but I don't really know who he is. I've heard the name from other people.
Well, he's one of the greatest modelers I've ever seen. You know, he really is, and he just does incredible work. He's the one who made the scratch-built Blade Runner advertisement blimp that flew over. I don't know if you've seen that, and it's fully functional. Everything works on it. And,
a Blade Runner blimp that functions?
Yeah, I mean it doesn't fly, but all the screens work. I think it's a better model than that they had in the movie.
Oh wow, I would love to see that.
You can find him. He's got a channel, I think. Another one that I could suggest would Scott Alexander, who's really good.
Right.
Of course, he's the one that does those beautiful 2 sizes of Discovery from 2001, my very favorite movie, and he also does the Klingon studio scale TOS D7 and a number of other models. So.
Just got it. Klingon.
Oh.
That's irony right there. You just mentioned the same ship I got as a gift.
Actually, that's not TOS. I'm talking from the original TV show.
Oh, the original? No, I don't. That's Next Gen. Not Next Gen. That's not Next Gen. That's yeah, that's Generations. The Generations one.
And I'll give you a third one because he's also an excellent model and a good friend, and he's very, very visible on YouTube. And his name is Tom Piedmont.
Mom and Tom?
Mom and Tom.
I already asked him.
Okay. Okay. He's quite good, and he's a hell of a human being.
Any guy that comes up with the idea of how to... I'm a LED fanatic when it comes to lighting up. So I had to ask the guy that makes a YouTube video just to have a store for a hobbyist and say, I'm making this for you guys, hobbyists, you know?
Right.
So I had to do it. I had to ask him. Well, that's the 5 questions. Now it's shameless plug time for you.
Shameless plug
Your
time.
YouTube
Visit
channel,
my YouTube
Facebook,
channel.
Everything. Go for it.
Well, yeah, I have a Facebook page, and it's just Steve Neill, and also there's my website www.sneill, Neill, letter fx.com. That's my website, which is fairly unattended. Then there's my blog, which is steveneill.wordpress.com, and then of course my YouTube channel, which is easy to find.
All right. Well, I will put all that stuff you just said in the credits.
Okay.
And that's the end of the show.
All right.
For being on it.
You're welcome, Manny.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Like I say to everybody, keep the blade sharp and make the hobby be fun. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.